Hey, it looks like we won't see a crossover for a while. The developers talk about how they don't want to dilute the IP. They also wanted to add voice packs for it. We'll go over a siege-ready passive secret that most of you may not know about. I'll show you a trick with the Directional Shield, and there's so much more I'll be going over. If you would like to support the channel, please hit the like button below by tapping the thumbs up button. At any point, subscribe and turn on notifications. We all know that the recent Killzone 2 crossover was controversial, whether it was the price or the fear of missing out. Either way, it wasn't well received by a majority of the Helldivers 2 community. With that said, there have been questions about when will we see another crossover, and it seems we won't see another one for quite a while. There's a reply from the CCO, Mr. Pilstead, that replied back to a Helldiver who talked about crossovers like Halo, Crisis, and all that, as you can see right here. The response this player got back was, "We will let collabs rest for a bit now. We don't want to turn into a diluted IP." Yep, so don't expect a collab to happen anytime soon. I believe they'll give it at least a year or maybe even more to figure out the next crossover and how to set up the shop properly with a permanent shop section. Also, it's great to know they don't want to dilute Helldivers. I know there were a lot of concerns about it turning into another Fortnite or Call of Duty in terms of collaborations. I wasn't worried at all, considering the Arrowhead team have talked about it before in the past, essentially stating they didn't want to overwhelm the game with crossovers. Since we're talking about crossovers, did you know the latest Killzone 2 crossover could have received a voice pack if only if the Arrowhead team had more time? If you didn't know about that right there, then tap the thumbs up button below because we're about to go over the information right now. So the Chief Creative Officer Pilstead replied to another Helldivers post. This specific Helldiver was quite excited to see the Killzone 2 crossover, and Pilstead replied back with, "That makes me happy. I hope you felt that we did a good job of capturing the Helgus. I just wish we would have had time to do a voice pack." First off, they did an amazing job with the collab. I've been a fan of Killzone since I was a kid, and it brought back a lot of good memories, a lot of nostalgia. Nonetheless, we could have received a voice pack. Unfortunately, time wasn't on Arrowhead team's side. Perhaps with the next crossover we get, we'll receive a voice pack for it. I know there were a few suggestions in the last video, and I'll post a few of them here on the video so you can check them out. There was GTFO, Half-Life, Deep Rock Galactic, and there's a little bit more here I'll showcase from the comments. I suggested Dead Space, and the reason for that is the armor would look pretty cool, although I'm not too sure if it would fit well with the Helldivers universe. Lastly, about crossovers, I'm not sure if any of you have been wondering why Arrowhead decided to choose Killzone out of all games to collaborate with. There's an explanation as to why. We have yet another post by the CCO that responded to a Helldiver and wrote, "I don't think IPs die until the last person that it affected dies. There are plenty out there that fondly remember Guerrilla's origins and their place as the pivotal studio of the middle PlayStation days. And why would choose to do something on that IP? Well, as the torch has been passed on to us as the shooter of this era of PlayStation, we wanted to pay tribute to those that came before us and their fans." That response is amazing. You have to appreciate the Arrowhead team for their passion and love for games. Without doubt, he's not wrong at all. Everything he said is absolutely true. Also, I don't think Killzone has died at all, considering a lot of players still want another Killzone game, as well as I do. I like how he talks about the torch being passed on and given a tribute to Killzone and the fans. I found it to be quite an incredible and heartfelt post. Overall, that's the reason as to why they chose to do a crossover with Killzone. Moving along, let's go over 2 tips and tricks that I think you'll find interesting enough to try out. The first one is with the newest Directional Shield that can be used on the exosuit, both the AT and HMG emplacement, as well as the new fast Recon vehicle. We first need to start off with the loadout by equipping the Directional Shield, of course, and we have to make sure we have either the stun lance or the baton equipped. At this point, we are going to choose a support stratagem like the emplacements. For example, once you have it all set, let's go ahead and dive down onto a planet. We're now going to spawn down both the Directional Shield and the AT and HMG emplacement. After the support stratagems have landed, we'll swap to our baton or stun lance with the Directional Shield equipped. Next, hop on the AT emplacement, stam yourself, and hold down the left trigger or right click the right mouse button, and it should pop up the Directional Shield every time you aim down the sights while you're on the emplacement. This also works for the HMG emplacement as well, it doesn't matter which one. Now, this is a bug, or rather a glitch, that is not supposed to happen. However, there's a buggy interaction when you have the melees equipped with the Directional Shield while stimming. It also works on the exosuit, both the Patriot and the Emancipator, although if you want to find any sort of benefit when doing so, you'll want to hold down the left trigger when you're aiming at the enemy or whatever you're aiming at, as it will trigger the shield and let you shoot your rockets at the same time. Not only does it work on the exosuits, it's also somewhat helpful when you're inside the fast Recon vehicle. It doesn't trigger when you're driving, but it works exceptionally well when you're in the machine gun seat or if you're in the passenger side of the vehicle. The second tip I have to show you is with the newest Siege Ready passive. A few of you have commented this previously in the last video, and to be honest, I wasn't aware of it. Nonetheless, the passive not only benefits primary weapons, it also has an effect on support weapons. If you didn't know, I'll showcase the proof right here. I'm first going to show you what the support ammo looks like without the passive. The Stalwart has 3 magazines, the Railgun has 20 ammo, the Flamethrower has 4 canisters, and lastly the Grenade Launcher has 3 magazines. Okay, let's see what happens when we equip the Siege Ready passive. What does it do? Well, it increases not only your primary ammo, it also increases the ammo on your support weapons, which you'll see very soon. Let's throw down our support stratagems and see if anything has changed. The Railgun has received more ammo, a total of 24. Stalwart now has 4 magazines, Flamethrower has 5 canisters, and last but not least, the Grenade Launcher now has 4 magazines. This doesn't affect the recoilless rifle or the Commando as far as I can tell, however it could affect it in terms of reloading speed since that's what the Siege Ready passive also helps with. So you know what, matter of fact, let's see if it helps with the reload speed. I'll show 2 comparisons on screen and you can let me know if it does help. We have the recoilless rifle, I'll shoot it then reload. We have a side-by-side comparison as well, and clearly we can see there's not much of a difference or any difference at all. The same goes with the Flamethrower as well. It seems it only affects the ammo and not the reload speed. With that aside, let's go ahead and check out some brand new clips from the Destroyer Super TV. I guess that's what I'll call it. So let's go ahead and check it out.
This is Coretta Kelly with all you need to know. A large number of colonies have come under attack. The Illuminate, in a horrifying display of heartlessness, seem to be targeting exposed population centers. The Helldivers are holding off the Illuminate forces in the streets. If you're in trouble, just look for a cape. All citizens are advised to keep calm and carry on arming themselves. And that is all you need to know. This is Coretta Kelly with all you need to know. The so-called Jet Brigade, an automaton unit crudely augmented with stolen jump packs, continues to terrorize innocent SEAF targets. A missing child has been found orbiting a local asteroid after a family spacewalk mishap. And signs of sentient life have been discovered on an unexplored swamp-like planet and swiftly eradicated. And that is all you need to know.
Tip from General Brash.
If you choose to reload your weapon before the current mag is empty, those bullets end up wasted on the ground, instead of buried in the beating hearts of our enemies. I say, waste enemies, not bullets. Brash tactics. Use them or die trying.
The Illuminate. These attackers have been confirmed as former citizens of Super Earth, abducted and transformed into mind-controlled monstrosities. Captured specimens retain no trace of their former selves, showing no recognition of loved ones or the Super Earth flag. These lost souls have been named the Voteless. Tragically, they are completely beyond saving. Citizens are advised to guard themselves against Illuminate mind control by redoubling their commitment to democratic values. As for the Voteless, the Helldivers have been ordered to bring a swift end to their horrific fates as foot soldiers of a despotic regime. Up next, is ordering calamari patriotic? or evidence of Illuminate mind control. Stay tuned.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe there's more you should know about, or whatever that clip was about at the beginning. I believe there's more of those, like maybe 6 of them. So far, we've only got about 2 or 3, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, those right there are some of the clips from the Super TV. What we have next is an official post by the Helldivers 2 X account. Right here it says, Super PSA, all Helldivers are required to complete our intensive emergency drivers education program to receive a temporary driver's permit for the FRV. Now, right underneath the post, we actually have an image, and it's the Helldivers Emergency Drivers Education FRV class. And right here it says, number 1, D, drive, R, reverse. Number 2, seatbelts must be worn at all times. 2A, update, seatbelts removed from FRV to increase Helldivers embarkment and disbarkment speed. Number 3, FRV is approved for vehicle-induced lifespan reduction of voteless pedestrians only. Number 4, Helldivers drive on the right side of the road. Whichever side you drive on is the right one. I like that. Number 5, avoid driving when tired or mortally wounded. Then at the bottom, they mention, this concludes your intensive driver's education course. Good luck, Helldiver. So, follow those rules and you get your FRV license and whatnot. So, beautiful. Beautifully written by the team themselves. Or Super Earth, whichever one you want to say. But awesome, man. All of this, I love how they do this stuff. It's comical, it's funny. I love the whole thing, though. But yeah, there you go. Lastly, for today's video, we're going to check out the Steam reviews because it has slightly dropped. At one point, it was overwhelmingly positive, and now it's very positive. I have a feeling this is all due to the recent controversy with the whole, crossover and whatnot. Obviously, this is not a good sign that, people are doing this. Because it doesn't make sense, man. I mean, to me personally, I don't think it was a big deal. Sure, the pricing was a little bit outrageous, but after all that they've done, why would you do it? I have no clue, but a lot of people had probably review bombed it a little bit or changed their reviews around. Nonetheless, it has, went down just a little bit. Let's go ahead and do our usual stuff at the end of the video, and let's go over your suggested loadouts. If you have already posted one previously before in a different video, feel free to comment again, and I might just select it. What we have today is an Illuminate loadout from Skipper7795. We have the Jar 5 Dominator that is strong against Overseers due to the explosive rounds. The Crisper is great when paired with the gas grenade since they'll be confused, and you can use the Crisper to finish the job. For stratagems, we have the grenade launcher that is insanely good when used on the Overseers and the Voteless that are in groups. The supply pack for refilling our grenade launcher when we're out of ammo, as well as our primary and whatnot. The orbital gas strike is not just good for confusing enemies, but it's also good for destroying warp ships. And lastly, the autocannon for crowd control and harvesters. I don't know what's up with you all, but you all have been recommending some of the craziest loadouts that are not only fun to use, but are entertaining. This loadout is a 5-star General Brash loadout. With all the information being said in today's video, if you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below, and I might just select your comment for the next one if it gets enough upvotes. The first top comment is from Aaron JB01. Not sure if this is known info. The Siege Ready passive affects both the primary and secondary weapons. So the stim pistol would carry a total of 35 stims, and the grenade pistol total ammo count is back at 9. So yeah, about that, we just went over that as well, and thank you to JB as well as everyone else that commented about it. I mean, I truly appreciate it. I didn't know about it until yesterday, so yeah, thank you. The second comment is by Soggy Senpai. That sounds unpleasant, but anyways, you said, can we get a heavy kill stat at the end of missions? Would be sick to see who took out the most heavies. Wouldn't that be pleasant if we were able to see that, right? Just some sort of stat about that. Maybe they'll update it, who knows? But I would suggest you send in some feedback, possibly to the developers on their dino form or whatnot. That might actually be a great way to see if we'll get that or not. They might actually listen. Last but not least, we have Surf Dude 765. As someone who grew up with games that only cared about the gaming experience, it is so refreshing to have one in today's world again. Take all my money, you support us, and we support you. It really is a fresh breath of air, honestly, because not a lot of games are like Arrowhead, and I truly appreciate what they do. So here we are again. Those are the top 3 comments. Make sure you give this video a like. Tell me what you think about it. Share it out with your friends. And I hope you guys have a very pleasant day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.